What's good? Another video here. Thanks you for the people that viewed my video yesterday. I think I commented on a Lex Friedman podcast, and then I got some views from that, but then they didn't stay that long. Like, what do they want me to, you guys want me to, like, be clean or, like, more professional or something? I have no idea. Or be rich or something. Like, I don't know. But it's all good. But, like, in this, today I'm just going to talk about, I have a script today, too. Like, I probably won't show you my screen that much in this video. We'll see what happens. But the reasons behind why people are moving to Bitcoin and digital currencies, just from, like, what I've experienced. I'm, like, 24 years old now. So, I'm not going to say I've seen a lot. Because, like, I mean, people are, like, freaking 80 years old. So, like, I mean, I haven't seen as much as them, obviously. Like, that's, what, like, 3 times my age. So, like, but, I mean, I've, like, seen, like, not a little, I feel like, at this point, at, like, 24 years old. So, like, I'm just gonna discuss, mainly millennials and Generation Z, because that's what I know. I'm, like, borderline millennial and Gen Z. So, yeah, that's what I know. It's like, basically, we got the whole, we're all the same, and we should be collectivist stuff. I don't know if every generation gets that, but we definitely did. I have a feeling that has only been a thing since, like, the 60s, I'm gonna say. Yeah, but I wasn't alive, so, but just from studying history. But because, like, that stuff started in the 60s, I was born in 96, so for our whole lives, and, like, for our lives, a lot of millennials, too, and then obviously Gen Z, because they come after me, we got that whole spiel, that whole, what do you want to call it, indoctrination, or, you know, it's that kind of information, we'll just call it that, for our whole lives. But as we got older, we realized that it wasn't 100% true. So there's good stuff about that, like, you want to be friends with everybody and stuff, but then, like, as you get older, like, people don't even, like, want to be your friend anymore. So, like, that is, and then people got to start making money. I think that's part of the thing that, like, then at some point, like, you're like, oh man, like, do you want to live in this neighborhood or that neighborhood? This house costs, like, this much money. This house costs that much money, if you can even get a house. Or, like, rent is this much, rent's that much. So then at that point, it doesn't even, like, the collectivist stuff doesn't matter as much. Then you get into the workforce, and it probably would have still mattered if, like, we didn't get into the workforce that was basically dominated by, like, baby boomers and stuff. So, like, they probably got screwed even more, because they were, like, they tried to get all to this collectivist stuff, like tripping acid and whatever they were doing, or at least some of them, right? Not all of them, obviously. I feel like that is way more of a thing now than it was back then, but it was just new back then. So, like, people made a big deal out of it. But then once it hit the workforce, it was like, oh no, this is, like, not how it is. So then they got pissed. So then they tried to make the workforce what they wanted. And that was back then. But, like, now it's now. So, you know, the way that they made the workforce, or maybe they just gave up, to be honest, because, like, I can't think of it being like I mean, to be honest, there's probably a bunch of, like, it's shitty now, but, like, it probably worked for back then just because of how things were. Like, there was, like, literally half the amount of people on the planet back then as there is now. And my buddy tells me, he's like, oh, there's just too many people on the planet now. I never really gave too much credence. I agreed with him, but I didn't give too much credence to it. I thought there was, like, different reasons behind why like this the old way wasn't working anymore, but like yeah, I think he's right about that. There's simply like this system was created for half the amount of people on the planet as there are now, and it was successful to the point where people could have more kids, right? Or maybe unsuccessful, right? Because as the nations develop, they tend to have less kids. So I don't even know what successful is or is not, but it was just made it possible for there to be another, like for the population to double. And like now that it has doubled, that system doesn't work anymore for a population that's double what it was built for. I mean, at the end of the day, we're all apes slash Homo sapiens. Like, people don't, like, I mean, we're apes, right? I mean, come on. Like, I feel like that's just easily forgotten because of, like, the bureaucratic nature of stuff. Like, there's levels to everything. So, like, you think the person level above you, you think, like, they're different or something, but they're just an ape like you, pretty much. Like, they might be an older ape, which, you know, if they're older, they've seen more stuff. But, I mean, we're all apes, right? So, like, we are all apes, but, like, people aren't just based on, like, so we're mostly similar. So that collectivist stuff makes sense in the fact that we're mostly similar, but we're not completely the same. So, like, some people just, like, have darker skin, for example, so they want to be in the sun more. Some people have lighter skin, so they like to stay indoors more. And then there's like other stuff, I'm not going to get into that, but most jobs, especially now with COVID, I'm just like going to get into like a little different thing here, but still the same. Like, most jobs, because especially now because of COVID in the past year, have moved toward either government jobs or big corporation jobs. Like, I had a video about small businesses like a couple days ago that no one watched, but you know, screw it. I mean, I thought I made some just good points. Now there's no small business anymore. There's no small farmers, no small, like, manufacturers. Like, I didn't even know how different the economy used to look compared to how it is now. But, like, there's just no small shit anymore. Like, everything's either a big corporation or a government job or both. So there's no, you have to do things completely, like, managed. Like, it's all management. So much things is just purely management. Like, we're not, like, growing shit anymore because, like, we're just so good at it. We're just, I mean, we're good at, like, growing a lot of shit. But then sometimes, like, it's not the healthiest stuff. But we're just good at growing a lot of it. So, you know, people don't go hungry, which is good. But there's certain things to be desired, I guess. But like, there's just, it's all big shit. So that just leads into bureaucracy, which is, I'll get into like the reasons for Bitcoin by the end. I think that's going to be the title of it. But yeah, so these jobs are, they like box you in and enforce hegemony, like, rather than accentuate differences among people. And that makes sense because it's management. Like, how are you going to manage people if, like, you're, like, focused on their differences? That just doesn't make sense practically. So if you want to manage people, you're going to focus on how they're the same, or how they could be the same, or how you want them to be the same is probably the best way to put it, and then just, like, box that in. And that's, like, try to, like, keep those boxes as good as possible, so, like, you can, like, keep making, like, money or whatever, or, like, keep the thing going, pretty much. Like, just keep the thing manageable. Like, that's, like, literally in terms of, like, management as a job and management as just something that humans do, like, try to do for their environment, like, just to keep the thing manageable. So now, why are we moving to Bitcoin and digital currencies? Because newer generations are tired of conforming, or they conform for a long time and, like, they don't feel like they got what they wanted out of it. which they were promised that they'd get, like, anything you want if you like follow the rules. Like the millennials, they were told that they got fucked, or at least most of them. Like some of them obviously did really well. I mean, some of them probably did average too, but like a lot of them got fucked. And like Gen Z is like, wait, we don't want to get fucked. So Gen Z is looking at that and they're like, okay, we're automatically gonna do something new from now because we don't want to get fucked like those people did. So now but like, come to realize like there is no escape really unless you go way to the fringes. So like you either have to be in that system or go way to the fringes. Like there's no middle really anymore. So that's kind of annoying. And there used to, maybe throughout most of human history there probably was in a middle, maybe not. Like I don't know if it's always been feudalism or something, but like there was a middle for a certain span of time. And like we're young enough in human history to remember, even if we weren't born then, people talk about how there was a middle. Or like maybe there wasn't, maybe they're just idealizing the past, I don't know. Because I wasn't born. All I know is right now, like, you're either on the fringes or you're like within that big box shit. So digitally based money systems provide the first small measures of autonomy that can possibly get us out of that. Like maybe create a middle. Like at least that's just what I think. That's like literally what I think. So like I have no reference for that other than myself and what I think. And then also this is me, provides new frontiers on the technology side, and like we need new frontiers, or at least like I kind of want some new frontiers, and other people do too, just like from what I see. Like I'm just gonna talk for myself because those other people aren't here right now. Like I want new frontiers because like the old big box shit is boring. I went to school for that, and like I like gonna kill myself if I have to do that. And I have no family. Like maybe if I had a family, I wouldn't mind that because I go back to my family. But like I have no family, or I have no like kids or a wife. Like I have parents, but my parents like they're already like they even told me they're like we're already old, we're done, and I'm like okay, well I mean if they're